last day we stopped here with this wireless communication. So we have to discuss about wireless communication today. So we discuss about three kind of wire technologies. So basically, one was coaxial cable, and the second one was twisted pair. And third one was about fiber optics. So we got to know that fiber is faster than the other media, and fiber is basically used for wide area network connections, whereas the other two are basically used for local area networks and personal area networks. So why? Because fiber it is possible to send data to long direction using fiber, but if you are using some other media, so it's only permitting you to transmit data without repeating or without repeaters. It can transmit around 100 meters. So that was the issue. And when it comes to like transmission impairments like noise and all, and electromagnetic interference, for copper cables it's very high, whereas for fibers it's very low. For copper cables, basically, so both are copper cables, fiber optics and the other one, twisted pair, both are copper cables. But so when it comes to the twisted pair, so then when you compare twisted pair and coaxial, twisted pair uh, has actually it is affected more. It is more affected through the with this electromagnetic interference. Electromagnetic interference effects are very high on twisted pair. Okay, wireless media. So wireless media, when it comes to wireless media, so there are ranges or bandwidths allocate for the wireless media. You should know that. So 3 kilohertz to 3 gigahertz range is basically it's radio signals, and 3 to 300 gigahertz, the high frequency area, that is for microwave transmission, whereas 3 gigahertz to 400 terahertz, it's infrared transmission. Infrared is light, so basically, light can travel long distance, but but we are using infrared for short distance communication. So what's the reason? So light can travel long distance, but when we are communicating, we use infrared for very short distance communication. What's the reason? So for an example, infrared is used in remotes. Infrared is used in remote TV remote, or air conditioner remotes. We're using infrared. It can go up to like maximum 10 meters, 20 meters. That is the maximum. But it has high frequency. High frequency means it should be able to travel long distances. So what's the reason? Any reason? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
The main reason is the sources. So which is used to produce basically so we are using LED bulbs. So
Yes.
very low power source. But if you are using a high power source like sun is when it in solar system, sun generates infrared signals, which is even travel to our planet from the very long distance. But the thing is, so if you are using such source, what about the energy required to generate that signal or the heat? Right? Basically, it will be very high. So that's the reason, because it's to generate infrared signal. So then generate such infrared signal which can travel long distance, we need more power. We need more power. But radio signals and microwaves you can generate comparatively with comparatively less power, and that's one reason. And even again the heat generation, infrared sources are generating heat. Right? It's heating. So when it comes to such heat generation, again that will be a bad experience if you are generating high power source and high. So, even all the objects which generate heat, most of the objects which generate heats generate infrared signals. So have you see the area called, there's a dimension called infrared photography. Have you seen that? Infrared photography. Infrared,
Infrared.
basically infrared can be seen,
Yeah.
you cannot see infrared. Infrared can be seen by animals. They can see infrared waves that as a color. As a color they can see, but we cannot see
Yeah.
infrared color. Infrared is below, the frequency is below red. Red we can see, but infrared we cannot see. Right? So, but animals can see infrared photography. Basically, infrared photography is one dimension of photography. So it's used to photograph. Cameras can see infrared. So using that can be by using that technology, the night vision cameras created, or then night vision cameras and infrared photography. These are some other dimensions of infrared. Okay. So anyway, infrared is basically used for short distance. So used for short distance, but it can even go more distances. But basically, we are using that for short distance communication, like 20 meters. And it is always it's the direction is not unidirectional. It's going one direction basically. Unidirection. It's not omnidirection. But when it comes to radio waves and microwaves, those are so basically microwave also unidirection, right? Microwave also unidirection, but radio waves are omnidirectional. Omnidirectional means it travels globally. So from the source, it spread globally. That means it's you can consider the source as globe, and for every direction, signal travels. But microwave is not like that; it's going one direction, and infrared is going one direction. So those are the things that you should know when it comes to these things. So what about Bluetooth, Wi-Fi? Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Why it is not mentioned here? Bluetooth, Wi-Fi.
Uh,
Why it's not mentioned? So Bluetooth, Wi-Fi are also main mechanisms. Bluetooth
yeah.
and Wi-Fi also one of the main. So Bluetooth is one of the main mechanisms. Wi-Fi is one of the main technologies used for LAN, local area network, wireless LANs. So why it is not mentioned
Right.
here? Yes. Why it is not mentioned here? Any idea?
No, not sure.
Okay, let me show one thing. This is the frequency of Wi-Fi. 900 megahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, 3.6 gigahertz. Likewise, these are Wi-Fi bands, Wi-Fi communication bandwidths. These
Right.
are Wi-Fi communication bandwidths. So let me show the Bluetooth frequency. So it's 2.45 gigahertz. Bluetooth is into this is the range basically 2.4 to 2.5 gigahertz. That's the range of Bluetooth. Roughly remember these things.
Yeah.
So if you analyze this 2.5, just remember these figures 2.5 or 2.45 and then 900 or 2.4. So this range. Okay, let's go back
Yeah.
to our note. Where it's falling into.
Below the radio.
That's radio signal, yeah. It's a so Bluetooth travel omnidirectional and Wi-Fi also omnidirection. So it's also kind of radio wave. It's under radio waves. So, but we call short distance radio waves. We call short distance radio wave.
Right.
Right. Okay. Then I think that's why. So that's the reason that it's not mentioned. It's also falling under radio waves. Okay. Then mobile. Okay, what about mobile communication? 4G, 3G, this HSP, HSP. So, what was the technology used in mobile communication? GSM. These are all. These are also. Yes.
Falling under the radio.
Sorry.
Also, in the category as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
So it's not clear. Can you repeat?
Uh, the the 4G and also stays in the range of the radio and the
Yeah, can tell like that, but actually a mix of this radio and microwave, mix of radio signals and microwaves. Because have you seen this towers used to do this radio communication? Have you seen those towers?
yeah.
So those towers basically it has some kind of drum-like thing. So it has some kind of drum. Okay, so these drums are used to transmit. These drums are used to transmit basically microwaves. So these towers are facing each other. So in maybe, so when you see from, so for an example, if you climb a mountain and see these towers, you can see those towers are in single direction. So those are facing each other. Why? Because this microwave need face-to-face communication. These towers are communicating using microwaves. But when it comes to mobile phones, so we are not communicating with towers in face-to-face manner, no? We are not going to keep this mobile phone in the direction of tower, no? We can get a call from anywhere. So what's happened? Basically from tower to us, from the tower to our computer, it comes through, from tower to our computer, it comes through radio signal as a radio wave. It's omnidirectional wave. So we can therefore we can move and get calls. Okay,
Right.
that's about it. And let's go through your book and see what they have given. Just give me 1 minute, right? I'll connect.
Yes.
Just give me 1 minute. Right, let's go through the book. And okay, the main thing is so they were discussing here. They were not discussing much about these technologies. They just suggest this diagram, the bandwidth. Basically, the bandwidth and data rate will be high when the frequency is high. And what is attenuation? Attenuation means?
What's it?
What is attenuation? Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm not familiar with that.
So attenuation means when, okay, when you, okay, for an example, my voice. So if you come closer, physically, if there's a person closer to my voice or closer to me, he or she can hear me clearly. But when the distance is getting, so when there's a more distance, basically when the person is far away from me, then the particular person will not be able to hear me properly because my signal power will be lower when it travels through a distance. So that is called attenuation. So when closer to the source, when it closer to the source, the power of signal is very high. But when the distance is high, the power of signal is getting low or diminishing. That is called the property. That is called attenuation property. The power of signal is diminishing with the distance. So that is called attenuation. So basically, radio signals are attenuating slowly, but infrared signals are attenuating quickly. So these signals, even the frequency is high, those signals are quickly attenuating. So you can see if the attenuation is so like this. Okay. Need of repeaters is basically, so when attenuation is high, you need more repeaters. When attenuation is high, you need more repeaters, because you have to repeat the signal and send it.
Right.
Okay, then so the next one is directional focusing capability. Directional focusing capability means what I have discussed, called that omnidirectional, unidirectional one. So that was the one that I have discussed, omnidirectional, unidirectional one, and that was the one I have discussed. Right?
Right.
Okay, then penetration through a wall. So whether it is possible to travel through a wall, and that is called penetration through a wall. Just give me a second. Hello. Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Then the penetration through a wall means whether it can traverse through a wall. So basically, so what about these signals? So it's getting high when it is radio signal. Infrared, actually, it's almost zero. Infrared cannot go through a wall because it's light. So it's type of light. It's not possible to go through a wall. So please understand these things, and that's very important. So if you understand, this is the summary actually. So wireless signal, this is summary. And infrared, so usages you should know. Microwave is used in mobile communication. Radio waves used in mobile communication, as well as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, those networks, mobile communication is used. So you have to analyze, and so also better you write down point format. You better write down where these signals used. So radio waves, and so let's radio waves usages. Then the next one is microwave. The next one is radio wave, microwave, and the third one is infrared. At least mention 2 places. So find out more, at least mention 2 places where these signals are used. So radio waves basically, so example for radio waves, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and radio frequencies, those are examples even. So you can write down where it is used, basically, usages of these.
Usages of this thing.
Okay, then let's move. And next is about internet. Next is about internet and how internet began, the history of the internet. Basically, it started with Second World War. Development was based due to the Second World War. So that is the main reason for introducing the internet. But at that time, they didn't have this intention. That means the internet we are using today, we are using for communication, communication of data, information, e-commerce, and almost everything today we are using internet. But at that time, the main intention was to develop a communication channel, which is possible to secure communication data and information related to war to some distance places. So not like that earlier days, there was traditional telephone and all, but they want some data channel. Data channel means to information communication channel, better than traditional telephones to communicate data. So that's why internet was on research at that time. That is called ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network. ARPA means advanced, so you can write down Advanced Research Project Agency Network. Advanced Research Project Agency Network. Advanced Research Project Agency. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that was used in USA, basically introduced in USA, and that is in early Second World War time. So as a research they introduced, then they have given this to universities. Then they have given this to universities, and after that, it was under research by National Science Foundation USA NSF network. So it's not there here in your node, but it was given to NSF, National Science Foundation, and they did some academic researches and developed this. And later, after the war, so they thought that this is very good communication media which can be used commercially. And public usage is basically it begins in late 90s. So late 90s it was very popular. The early 90s or the mid 90s, that was the development, but late 90s, so it was really getting popular with public. So it's given to public, and basically, so in order to access internet, what do you need? In order to access internet, what do you need? Can you name few things that you need to access internet?
A network router.
What else?
A device which can a device and then an Ethernet cable.
Yeah, the first thing is ISP. You need ISP, Internet Service Provider. Connection, valid connection from ISP. And the second is you need network interface. Network interface in your machine or your computer or your device. So this can be wired or wireless. So if you don't know, please write down. So network interface. The third one is after ISP, after network interface. The third one is we need, as you said, a router, but basically I like modem rather than mentioning, right? That is more traditional. Modem means modulator, demodulator. So that was the fundamental device which is needed to access internet, because we are using PSTN network, public switch telephone network, PSTN, which is called public switched telephone network, to communicate data and information in internet. That is our public existing telephone infrastructure. So our existing telephone infrastructure, it uses analog signals, but in our computer there are digital signals. So we need mechanism to transmit analog to digital and digital to analog. We need a mechanism to transfer the signals digital to analog and analog to digital. Therefore, so we use a device called modem, modulator, demodulator. So that's the reason. Understood?
Yes.
Right. In routers, basically routers are used to find the shortest, that's not shortest actually. Routers are used to find the easiest path or least traffic path, most convenient path. So that is the secondary need. The primary need is you need to convert this digital data to digital signals and then to analog signals ultimately. And when you receive data, it is when we need to transmit these analog signals back to digital signals and digital data. To do that, we need modulator, demodulator. The second stage, or the second thing is that we need, in the second stage only, we need a router. After modulating process, we need router. So nowadays, actually today's routers, we have modem capability inside that. That's why nowadays we don't see the modem separate. Earlier days there was separate modem. Nowadays also modem is there, but it's integrated with the router, or it is integrated with your mobile phone or some other device which is capable to access internet. So anyway, you need ISP, network interface, a modem, and not only that, you need relevant software, programs to access the services of the internet. Example, for web, you need web browser. So if it is for email, you need email client. For instant messaging, we need instant message IM client, such as WhatsApp. So likewise, we need relevant software. Otherwise, even internet is present. If you don't have the software, it's not possible to access the service. So we need these things. So in internet, we need ISP, a network interface, and relevant software, and capable or internet enabled device. So that basically with the interface. So interface just itself is not enough. You need a device to access internet. Internet itself is not enough. You need a device to access internet. Please write down.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Right. Then about the services of the internet, actually we have discussed this. What is service of internet? Internet is the infrastructure. We discussed that last day, day before last day actually. Internet is the infrastructure and World Wide Web is the service. Running, that is the one of the main service. Right. Here internet supporting hardware. So basically router and the modem, you need that. And then basically, so I think we learned this one as well, client server architecture and what is client and what is server. Bit streaming also we studied.
Yeah.
Bit streaming can be used for like, we have studied this in previous one. So YouTube streaming, on-demand streaming, and real-time streaming. We discuss about those streaming technologies. And not only that, so in the client server architecture, can you remember the usages of these servers? Web server. So what is the usage of web server?
To like to retrieve information.
A web server is the server which gives information. So basically that is the server which provide web service. Simple as that. Web server provide web service. Okay. Web server provide web service. That's all. And what about the application server? Application server?
To run the application.
Yeah, that is basically it provide the application service. Similar to web server provide web service, application server provide application services. There are different applications running in the internet. So maybe you have remote access applications, the web-based applications, even web-based application, you need application server to help running those applications. And domain name server, what's the responsibility of domain name server, DNS?
To give an identity to the domain.
Right. So I rather than identity, so that's a main thing done by this domain name server we discussed previously. So it is similar to your phone book. Now can you tell? It's similar to your phone book.
To locate a specific ID
ID
or domain.
What do you mean?
The domain.
ID what do you mean by ID? ID, or is there anything else? How do you
to locate that
internet connected machine, internet or network environment?
Sorry, sir, what?
How do you recognize internet connected machine or internet enabled network connected
through the IP address?
To IP address. So if there's a server in internet, how do you recognize that server?
Through the DNS.
Through DNS or something else. Again, I think you have not, so still not, you have not understand the term perfectly. We discussed this. Actually, I have even given you note.
Yeah.
When we discuss in IP addresses, I have given some terminologies. I cannot remember which one I have really, in which note I have given this. But anyway, so give me 1 second, 1 minute. I'm going to show this to you again. Okay, this was the one we have discussed about bit streaming and real time bit streaming, on demand bit streaming. Then we discussed about IP address, which is a unique way to identify a machine. That is unique ID is limited to your mobile phone. Using mobile phone, you can identify a mobile in connected world. In the connected world of internet or networks, we identify machines using IP addresses. We discuss IP version 4 address and IP version 6 address. And then compressing of these IP addresses we discuss. Then we discuss about the public IP address, right? Public IP address, which you can go and ask about what is my IP from Google. Then it will give you a public IP, what is my IP. It will tell you how internet sees your computer. This is how internet recognize your computer, or how public world see your computer. But if you go and ask internally how internal network sees your computer, you can go to your terminal or command prompt in your machine, in your computer. You are able to repair your laptop or still not?
Still no, sir.
Right.
It's
Then if you can ask IP, or in Windows, this is IP config. In Linux and Mac, this is IF config. So then it will tell you what is your IP address, and here it's 192.168.8.108. Right. 192.168.8.108. That is the IP address. That is internally. That is not this one. This is externally, how the external world see you. That is called public IP address. And how the internal world see you is called the private IP address. That is in your internal network. Okay, then what is static and dynamic IP address? What is static IP address and what is dynamic IP address?
Dynamic IP address, it's the one with a router.
Yeah, when we are using our router, or when we, for an example, you can see some more connections, Wi-Fi connections are there. So if I connect to one of these, so my public IP will be changed. And if I again connect to the same IP, If I again connect to the same IP, again, you can see I will be, again, sometimes I will not get the same IP. I will get another different IP, which is available. So that is called dynamic. My IP address is changing. But if I'm hosting a service, if I'm providing a service, I can't use, this is like, okay, so you know, these mobile bread shops and all, the Chun Pan fellows.
Yeah.
So if you buy something with them, if you go and buy something, so next time you will not be able to find the person, because you maybe he will change the route, or he will, sometimes he will come. You don't know the exact time that he's going to come. So he's having dynamic. He's having dynamic address, dynamic location, changing time to time. Can be same, can be, maybe he can come same time, same day again. So that can also be. So that means with this IP, again, next day also I can get this IP. But that is a chance.
Right.
I don't know exactly whether I'll get it or not. That I cannot guarantee, but sometimes I'll get the same address. Okay, that is dynamic address. But if you are hosting a service, proper service, for an example, okay, if you are selling machines, if you are selling computers, if you are selling air conditioners, you need a physical location where the address is fixed. Then only your customers can visit and get your service. In case of warranty claims, or in order to receive the service again, then they can direct other customers even to the same place. You need a fixed location. So similar to that, if internet is providing a service, so it is possible, it is required to buy a fixed IP address, that is called static IP address. That IP address, the public one, which is not going to change. You are going to reserve a public IP, but it is not going to change. That is the idea. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. You will get a public. This is about public IPs. Huh? The public IPs can be dynamic or static. Dynamic public address, it's going to change, but static public address, it's not going to change. It's going to be fixed. Then you can provide a service, especially when you're running a server. You need to have static IP address. Understood?
Yes.
Right. Then okay, the next thing is, let's move. Private IP address, yes, we discussed. Then, so we have discussed about these things: network address translation, thin client, thick clients, and client server model. And we discuss about server, client, and server is the one providing simultaneous service to its clients. And then we discuss about peer-to-peer architecture. Peer-to-peer means one-to-one, face-to-face. So that is also the second architecture in the internet. There are two architectures. The main one is client server. The second architecture is peer-to-peer. Okay, did we discuss these things? I think we have discussed.
Yes.
Face-to-face one, and face-to-face you can ad hocly you can transmit files. But client server architecture is a responsible architecture where server is responsible to give a simultaneous service to all its clients without any bias, without any specific favorations. So that is a client server model. For example, if you visit Google and search something, at the same time, if I visit Google and search some another thing, so it should be responsible to respond me and you both. So that is called this client server architecture. Web uses client server architecture, and email uses client server architecture. So then we discuss about the devices, different devices in the internet, and that was our discussion basically related to this topic. But in case if you miss something, that's why I'm repeating this. Okay, what is DNS? What is domain name system or domain name server? Basically, DNS or domain name server, DNS or domain name server, responsibility of it is converting. If you are not written in your note, please write down, convert domain to IP and IP to domain. Convert domain to IP and IP to domain. Domain name server, the purpose is convert domain to IP and IP to domain. So what is domain? What is domain? Yes. Domain is a unique name given to a server to identify. So it has something called top level domain and country specific domain. So these are sub-disciplines. I'm giving a short note. Okay, I'm not going to give you a big note. I'm giving you a short note. If you have not written, you can write down this top level domain. So you have examples. .com is a top level domain. I think you have written this previously. Yeah? I'm not sure. If not, write down. Okay. .com is top level domain. .info is a top level domain. .org is a top level domain. .mil is a top level domain. .gov is a top level domain. .edu is a top level domain. Likewise, the main domains edu net. These are top level domains. The country specific domains are based on the country. Example, .lk is a country specific. .in for India. .pk for Pakistan, and .jp for Japan. .nz for New Zealand. Likewise, it can be country specific domain. So responsibility to give these domains and domain names and IP address is responsibility of this organization, ICANN. It is called Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. They are responsible about domain names and IPs. Domain name reseller. So we have to identify about domain name reseller too. Domain name reseller. ICANN is the factory, but we are not visiting the factory to buy a domain. Instead of that, we contact a reseller such as iPower or GoDaddy, such as iPower, GoDaddy. That is relatively cheaper. They will charge their fee plus ICANN fee, but still cheaper. Okay, I'll show you this practically. First of all, please write down. DNS is a domain name server. Domain means a unique name given to organization to identify it. I can give you example. Example, Microsoft.com is a domain. Google.com is a domain. Maybe in Sri Lanka, you can say nie.lk is a domain. So you have top level domains like com, info, org, mail, gov, edunet. These, some more are there, right? I have given only few. And country specific domain, the LK, IN, PK, JP, New Zealand, NZ. And who's responsible for giving this domain is ICANN. But we are not going to visit ICANN and buy domains. Instead of that, we are going to connect resellers such as iPower, GoDaddy, and resellers' prices are cheaper. So for an example, you go and buy tea from a factory. So you go and buy tea from a local shop. The local shop, the cost will be lower than the factory. Because you are going to buy a small amount, you are not going to buy a bulk. But what these local sellers are doing, they are going to buy a bulk from factory and then sell it. So from resellers, we can get it for a cheaper price than the factory. So that the story is similar in domain names. So we are not going to visit ICANN and buy that. Instead of that, what we are going to do, we are going to use authorized reseller and then buy a reseller or buy the domain from resellers. The country level domains actually, so there's special thing, country level domains or country specific domains. Sometimes need and special approval or and required follow a policy. Moratuwa University is handling .lk domain. Example, so if you want to buy a .lk domain, you have to contact Moratuwa University. Here, this is how you have to just go and .lk domain or LK domain registry. It's basically here LK domain registry. It's handled by handled by Moratuwa University. This is the original site, nic.lk. And you can here, so now they are giving this service through internet. But earlier days, you have to send some documents. Nowadays also even, you have to send some documents and register LK. So you can't go and buy the LK domain from godaddy.com. So there's a special agency in Sri Lanka, and they will basically, I think earlier days, they were expecting a business registration or company registration. Then only they release the LK domain. If you have company registration, then only they release this. But I don't know the policy now because I have not recently taken any LK domain, but there was a policy earlier days. Earlier days, there was a policy. Okay, this is the LK, nic.lk is the LK domain registry. Okay, domain means basically if you have a business running on the internet or cyber, so this is for your knowledge. If you have a business or organization running virtually or running in the internet, running in the cyber world, it is required to buy a domain. I can give you example. Okay, think about an organization. Okay, think about the education department, Department of Education, or Department of Examination, Sri Lanka. So it has a domain called donates.lk. It has a domain called donates.lk. But the real name, this is physical name. Physical organization name is Department of Education Sri Lanka, Examination Sri Lanka. Cyber world name, representation is donates.lk. Cyber world representation is donates.lk. You can write down this. Department of Examination Sri Lanka, but it is donates.lk. That's the difference. Physically, you have another name, physical organization name, and in the cyber world, you have another name. Cyber world name is called domain name. I think now you can explain this very well, right? So next time, if I ask the same question, what is DNS, what is domain? So you should be able to explain this more clear way. Okay or not? Understood? Hello.